All right, what an awesome riff. Godzilla. If that doesn't sound like Godzilla, I don't even know what does. So it's in F sharp. Play the 1 chord, then you go 4, 5. So you got B, C sharp. It's in F sharp. And then you do the second to the flat 3. So that lets you know it's in minor, right? So the F is in minor. That's the flat 3. And then you do the flat 6, or the 6 to the flat 7, to the 5, wait, the 4, and back to 1. And then a little bending on the 5, the F sharp. A little unison bend. So you just play this note here on the 14, and your ring fingers on the 17, you're just bending that up until they match, and then bring it back down so you get that rub when the 2 notes kind of get really close to each other but not quite exactly each other. Pretty cool, man. Buck Dharma. So, all right, guys. So I just wanted to try something a little bit different in this video. Just chatting with you. Play a little something at the beginning. And yeah, just chat about some stuff. Guitar stuff. What's been happening lately. I see a lot of things online about do you need to know a ton of theory? You know, how much theory do you really need in order to be an actual musician, whatever that means, right? And I'm of the mind, you know, as little or as much as you need. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to put anybody down if they don't know everything, you know. Like, it was a long time, I didn't know anything. So for the record, I went to school, I went to Berkeley and graduated in 2001. And so I know all this stuff. When I got out of there, was I able to use it all? Not really. You know, I'm not really a big jazz head, you know. I enjoy some stuff, and I like some of the vocabulary that goes along with it. Would I like to play more of that? Sure, and that's on my journey, you know. But yeah, typically, if you guys ever heard the 80-20 rule, right? Where like 20% of what you learn is 80% of what you use in this case. That's how it would apply. Or usually it's in business, like 20% of your marketing equals 80% of your sales. Like, if anything, you can identify the 20% that really makes the difference, right? That's what I think you have to look at when learning theory, all right? Like, it's great to understand how scales work and how harmony works, and major chords and major minor scales, dominant, all that stuff. But you need to, you know, understand cluster chords and 12 tone rows and all this stuff. I don't think so. So the 20%, what is it, right? I would say major and minor chords, bar chords, 7th chords, and if you can, inversions of those, some things like that. And then pentatonic scales, obviously, they're like a big favorite of mine. So, you know, that's all you really need to play at a level that someone would hear you and say, this guy knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Someone threw some changes at you, like you go to a jam session and they're like, all right, jam, the chords are, you know, let's keep it simple, like A, D, and E, right? You know how to play A, D, and E there. You could play A, D, and E here. Maybe know that voicing. A, D, and E. Obviously, your open chords. You got A down here, D, and an E. Or you could play an inversion of that, which I like. Instead of this one, you move your root up to the third. So that's really cool. You know, so if you know all that stuff, you're good to go. You know, if they say, oh, throw in, let's go to like the 2 minor and the 6 minor for the bridge, right? That's where it's good to know. Like, all right, in the key of A, which we're in, the 2 minor is B minor, and the 6 minor is F sharp minor. You know, you can play it here, play B here, F sharp minor here, right? Play B minor here, F sharp minor here. So there's all sorts of ways to play it, which will allow you to use the whole neck, right? So if you understand that, you understand your bar chords, and different places to play progressions, and you can kind of do it quickly. They say, here's the sheet, let's jam. And you're like, okay, and you're just kind of following along with the sheet, or if you can memorize it, that's even better. If you have that bandwidth and that sort of memory recall, that's great. But yeah, if you know that, and then you know what pentatonic scales go with that, you're pretty much good to go. You can play all night. You know, if you have a 7th chord comes up, you could play like A7, you could play an A major pentatonic, or you can play dominant pentatonic, which I like. It's like the A major pentatonic, but instead of the 6th, you have a flat 7. That has a cool sound, and that has 5 shapes to it too, because it's pentatonic. But yeah, do you need to know the melodic minor scale, the harmonic minor scale, all the modes of the melodic minor, like altered dominant, stuff like that? Not really. Not really. Look at Jimi Hendrix. He never, I don't even know if he played a dominant scale in his life. You know, for this, any sort of 7th chord, he would play minor 7, you know, pentatonic. It's the idea. So, I mean, go as far as you want to go. I'm not saying to stop ever. Just keep learning. I'm saying don't be in a rush to learn everything just because you feel like you need to, or someone told you you need to, and you're scared not to because you'll look like a fool or whatever. You know what I mean? I'd say, this is my own personal opinion, and the path that I took after learning all that stuff, I said, I'm just going to focus on pentatonics and all that I can do with that. Like, people think, all right, I know the pentatonics, I know that first shape. That's all I need to know, you know? But no, you know, learn all 5 shapes. Then learn how to use them with chords, right? A lot of people do minor pentatonics, and I teach a course. When we get to major pentatonics, they go, whoa, it's like a whole other side of the coin, or other, you know, that they never even delved into. So they have, those licks aren't in their head or under their fingers yet, like the minor pentatonics are for most of us. That's like our wheelhouse, right? Like, that's the scale we learn just in that shape. So, I mean, I say learn what you know as much as you can. But rather than spend all that time memorizing other shapes, scale shapes and modes and how to use them and rules, take something simple like bar chords in the pentatonic scale and do as much as you can with it. Then move on. You know, if you're like, oh, I've run out of stuff to do with this, I'm bored with it, then move on. I'm still finding ways to use the pentatonics that are, you know, surprising, and I still haven't even really, you know, tapped the surface. What do they say? Brush the surface? I did something to the surface of it, and I haven't even done that yet. I have so much further to go, you know? So yeah, what I was doing on Godzilla, I was trying to figure out like what are the two chords that are happening there. It feels like two chords, and I think it's this F sharp minor, and then ba-na-na, A major, da-na-na-na, da-na-na. And that's it. Like those other things are ornamental. And there's your next chord. All right. So if you were soloing on it, you might just want to focus on that. And the cool thing about it is now you have your minor and then your major of the same pentatonic shapes. Here's your minor pentatonic shapes, right? And then the second shape of the pentatonics is A major. So you can just jam on that all day with those 5 shapes. Which is kind of cool. I like to have a little different, you know, I like chord progressions that allow me to switch shapes, because then you have some notes changing, which leads to really cool phrases that sound like they're resolving and flowing with the chords. But in this case, I just wanted to play that riff. I was like humming it yesterday, and I'm like, oh man, what a good riff. So good. And a little side note is King Kong has his own song. It's more funky and kind of silly, and I play it for the kids all the time. But I don't know. I think Godzilla, that song wins. It's more metal and more like King Kong is more like, it's funky, man. I like it. I haven't learned it or anything, but check it out if you're ever interested. Google King Kong or, you know, Spotify it. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna stop here. Let me know if you like this. I kind of like just chatting with you guys. If you have questions, put them in the comments, and it'll be something I can chat about. I'm going to try to do stuff like this for a little while, see if you guys like it. If not, that's fine too. Life's a big experiment. So, yeah, I'll talk to you later. I got to find a way to sign off. I'll go like this. Peace. No, I'm not going to do that next time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.